This is a presentation of the Sports Source Digital Network, presented by Hearthside Bank.
Come on in and join us. Action's officially on the Sports Source Digital Network. We make it short, make it sweet. Chuck Cavalaris, Mr. Chucky C. Note, Tyler Ivens here. Fall camp is underway. And at the University of Tennessee, we've got some probabilities if you're wanting an idea just how this offense and this Tennessee football team in 2025 is going to mix. A lot of details, a lot of information. Let's just dive right into it. Chucky.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about just how the bulk of Josh Heupel's games have looked in the 4 years he's been here on Rocky Top. Shouts to John Pennington here at the Sports Source. This guy, he's got the archives. He slides out the folder cabinet and he looks at all the numbers. 52 games. We know that there have been some high water marks. We know there have been some basement low marks. But in 52 games, Tennessee has scored 30 points or fewer 18 times, okay? And in 5 of those games, those came in Heupel's first 2 seasons. So think about those 24 months when he was still trying to really work the brakes on a new set of tires. And 13 of those games came in Heupel's last 2 seasons. So for those of you who are like, sum that all up, perfect. That means UT scored 31 or more 80% of the time in the 2021-2022 seasons and just 50% of the time in the last 24 months. So, Chuck, when you talk about what the first 2 years and what the last 2 years have brought to the table, here's a great question to ask right out of the gate. Will Tennessee score 31 or more in at least 7 of their 12 games in 2025? What do you got?
I tell you what, you look at the non-conference games,
and that's
obviously important. 3 of those for sure.
Yeah.
Syracuse, we'll see. So,
By the way, that number keeps trickling up if you're shopping around the number.
Right. So, I mean, to me, I see 4 there. Possibly. Then the SEC games, are you going to do it 3 times? I tell you what, from what we've seen of this offense, unless we see some significant improvement in the passing game, I don't see them going over that. So if the question is, will Tennessee score 31 or more in at least 7?
7 is the mark. You got to be more than 50% of your games.
I'm going to say no.
See, I'm going to say no, too, and this is why I love doing a lot of these look-ahead simulations or these probabilities. If you follow along with John Pennington's show on Sundays, he always introduces you to key numbers or the magic numbers, and there's always been 2 that I've noticed when being a part or watching the Sunday show when you're on. John has introduced us to what is the team total bottom line number Tennessee needs to get to, and clearly based on these numbers presented to us this afternoon, that mark is 31. The other number he introduced us to is what happens if Tennessee falls back, the deficit. If the deficit reaches a certain number, Tennessee and their chances of being able to come back or win that game, obviously very, very low. So these are one of those educational points of what the key number is. So this year when you're looking at the University of Tennessee's team total, one of those sexy popular votes, you need to be looking around this 28 through 31 number that Tennessee usually hits.
Exactly. Here's another thing I look at. In your 4 non-conference games, you average 61.75 points.
Oh, well, Kent State will do that for
you. Well,
you.
in your non-conference games. Your 3 highest scoring SEC games, you average 28.
Yeah.
Your other SEC games, 5, you're at 24. So, I mean, it's the SEC play is going to bring down just about whatever you accomplish against non-conference foes. So, I would be surprised if this is, it says at least 7.
Yeah.
I think they're going to struggle to get to that 7.
And it's so funny that Chuck points this out. Just a little note, and I'll give a hat tip. If you watch Sundays, you're familiar with Bob Hodge here on the network and as well as here locally in Knoxville. We were talking about the breakdown of numbers against non-conference opponents and where Tennessee averaged and their average points scored against conference foes this year. The difference, about 10 points, to which you were just highlighting there. You get Kent State's in the mix occasionally, but then if you're looking at where the drop-off has been, Tennessee clearly takes on tougher competition defensively when they take on some of the SEC opponents. I'm with you on that. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say half-half. I say 6, more of the 5 range as well. But I got to get more of these questions answered before I actually concrete can say yes. Speaking of which, the passing game, let's talk about Tennessee's quarterbacks. Tennessee's quarterbacks, they have completed 62% of their passes or under just 20 times out of these 52 games, the first 4 years under Josh Heupel. 7 times that happened in the first 24 months, the first 2 years. And then 13 times it's happened in the last 2 seasons.
Right.
So, Chuck Cavalaris, the last 2 seasons, UT's quarterbacks have completed more than 62% of their passes in just 50% of the games. Not the best, for those of you out there who want to know where the bar is set when it comes to completion percentage. So Chuck Cavalaris, interesting question number 2, will Tennessee's quarterbacks plural, group, will Tennessee's quarterbacks complete better than 62% of their passes in at least, again, 7 of the 12 games they see in 2025?
Boy, I tell you what, I think this is a great number, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, if you look last year.
This is a sobering number at number 2, I'll say that.
And if you look last year.
Yes.
Obviously, changing quarterbacks, right? We don't know if it's going to be Aguilar. He's the most experienced. What is he career-wise? I had him like a 65.7% percentage guy. So, I mean, moving up in competition, is he still going to be able to keep that kind of percentage? I'm going to say yes, but barely. I think it's going to be that close, and you really need him to stay healthy, I think, because you don't have any experienced starters behind him.
I really thought this was going to be the one that we went oppo on.
Yeah.
I agree. And this doesn't make for a sexy video here on the Sports Source Digital Network. I agree. Disagree. Here's the reason behind it. I think Josh Heupel's offense alone, and this will be interesting for us to dig into before we get to the kickoff against Syracuse. Josh Heupel in this Veer and shoot offense alone, those 2-3 yards, get it out of your hand. I call those cheap completions. But guess what? You do that 3 times at 3 yards, you're going to move the chains on every drive. I think his completion percentage is going to be a little inflated because of how this offense works.
Yes.
You were going to follow up on that.
Yes. Well, I mean, I'm going to follow up on that, but the one thing I would wonder, who's going to step up in your wide receiver group?
And you've already got Chris Brazzell right now who's on the sidelines to start fall camp.
It seems like those guys stay
another injury.
I mean, if I look at it, aren't the wide receivers your most underperforming position group the past couple of years?
Kelsey Pope met with the media this week. A lot of people are intrigued with what he has to say about the underproduction of his room.
To be able to hit this, to be able to go over this number, you're going to have more production. And it might be the younger, some of the brand new receivers. I don't know. But I think the ball is going to be delivered catchable. Will they catch it?
Advent Electric has been providing high-quality electrical contractor solutions for 46 years. From 24/7 emergency electrical services to providing skilled residential and commercial electrical contractors and everything in between. Our expert certified electricians are equipped to help you no matter the size or complexity. Advent Electric, 865-588-0631.
Thank you to the team over at Advent Electric. Now, while we're with you, you like content like this, right? As we continue the countdown to the kickoff of the Tennessee 2025 season, ring the bell so you can be notified and leave a comment. When you like videos like this on the Sports Source Digital Network, you are essentially telling your friends, hey, I think you will also like the content that we bring to the table as a whole. Or you can just say, wow, Tyler and Chuck are at it again. We should find out what Tyler and Chuck are up to again. Chuck, I want to keep things going. Again, this is a 52-game window. We're looking at all 52 games through the 4 years of Josh Heupel's career here on Rocky Top. And in those 4 seasons, the Vols have thrown for 215 or fewer yards 17 times. And in 4 of those games, those came in Heupel's first 24 months, all right? And 13 of those games have come in Heupel's last 2 seasons.
Wow.
Yeah. So to sum all that up, the Vols have thrown for more than 215 yards in just 50% of their games in the last 2 seasons. Heavy running game, or maybe your quarterback just is wanting to not take risks. So, Chuck, I ask you, will Tennessee's quarterbacks reach 216? That's the mark we're setting here. 216 yards, and again, same window. The parameters are 7 of the 12 games in 2025.
Well, the big picture, I know. Here's what I'm looking at. Number one, if you were a passing offense, I'd be tempted to say yes right off the bat.
Yes.
You're a running offense. That keeps the clock going. Are you tempo or not? That's up there. That's one of the things I said. John Pennington has pointed out a drastic drop-off in explosive plays.
Yeah.
So that's what you need, in my estimation, to be able, clock runs faster, not as many, all of these things are, the clock's not going to change, but the other part of it has to change. So I'm going to say no. I mean, you had 2 really good passing games that stand out to me last year. Late in the season against Vanderbilt, maybe against Mississippi State. You take those out of the mix, you're under that consistently. So again, for that number to be up, then I think you have to have several things fall into place. I hope they do for Tennessee fans. But I would say no.
This is another good mark. Because if it was set at 6.5, but you're asking for them to get to the full 7. Yeah, so that means if we handicap this at 6.5,
yeah,
I think they get there in the 4 non-conference games. I think they get there with Vandy. I think they get there with Arkansas. That's 6. Can they get there against Oklahoma, one of the big 3, or Kentucky? Mississippi State. Yeah. No, I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
All right, process of elimination. Sorry you just saw the gears working there, but the problem is it's going to come down to some of those games of how many of these games you expect Tennessee to be down.
Right.
Okay, in Tuscaloosa and in Florida. And here's the thing. With it being an odd number year, 25, you're going on the road to Florida and Alabama, where I think you're going to be behind and you're going to have to throw the ball more. So you might be able to catch one of these games for the hook that puts you at the 7 marker that's been presented for this question.
Right. And you really haven't been able to figure out the Georgia defense since Heupel's been here. Really running or passing in a way, but definitely throwing the ball. So, I think it's a great number, but I'm still going to stick with under.
You want to talk about the boo-boos?
Sure.
Because when you talk about a starting quarterback in Joey Aguilar, you can't talk about good and also not bring up the bad. Pretty much with any quarterback, but Joey Aguilar, if you read the back of his football card, there is a stat that does stand out. In 52 games, Tennessee's quarterbacks have only thrown 2 interceptions in the same game 3 times. But all 3 of those games have come in the last 2 seasons, the 24 and the 23 year. In 21-22, UT never threw more than 1 pick in a game. Limited giving the ball to the opposition. That's stunning.
Yes.
That's stunning. It's like when we hear some of the special team numbers Pennington pulls up, but the turnover numbers, stunning. Chuck Cavalaris, big send home.
Yes.
Will the Vols quarterbacks throw 2 or more picks in at least 2 of their 12 games in 2025?
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm sorry. God, I think this is extra gravy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can think of 2 of those games right now. Ball hawking defense where you just sit there and go, oh, God, this can get ugly. I think one of them, because I think one game comes at home. I think it's the Georgia game. And I think the other one is either Alabama or Kentucky, surprisingly. I think Kentucky's defense this year is going to be very surprising, including their front 7. Mark Stoops will still finish 7-5, but they're going to have a defense that's going to keep them in games.
Right. And even though you'll keep hearing the stat, Joey Aguilar's had 24 interceptions the past 2 seasons.
Right.
My son Chris pointed out, as somebody was talking to him, App State was behind in a lot of those games.
Oh, yeah.
And he's forcing some throws there.
That's a great point.
But you can't get away with that at Tennessee. One thing I've been impressed with, from what I've seen more zip on the ball than what I thought he had in some of the highlights. But we'll see. I think a lot of that's going to come down to him. How's he going to handle it? And is he going to get the ball? Going to give him the chance to get the ball out fast? If he doesn't, then that's when I think you're going to see, at least 2 interceptions in 2 games.
So this is one where once I share this, you're going to follow along at Tyler Ivens on the Twitter. A couple of weeks back on the Sunday show on the Sports Source, John Pennington created this huge graphic of where Joey Aguilar's cold zones, hot zones are. Think of it like a batter at the plate where he swings at a pitch. Joey Aguilar compared to Nico Iamaleava, dangerous Joey Aguilar, loves those deep balls to the corner of the end zone, loves throwing up those one-on-one balls. How's he going to fare accuracy on the deep looks against SEC All-American defenses compared to what he was seeing in the Sun Belt Conference? I think this is an easy slam dunk. I know the comment section are going to rip us apart like hyenas. But until you get more answers from Kelsey Pope's wide receiver room, until a quarterback steps up and shows that, in fact, they can withstand the pace of a 12-game SEC schedule, I think that this is an easy over, and I think we save the best for last, especially if you're looking to make cash on turnovers game by game. This is going to be one that I think you're going to see your account start climbing in that category.
Climb that account, baby.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. It's so funny because when people ask us, you guys do great work on action, why do you do it? Cash and tickets is what it's all about.
Hey. It's all about stacking, baby. It's stacking a win and a win and a win.
When I go to Chuck Cavalaris' house, he serves steaks, not ramen, because we make cash money. Like it, ring it, comment. We do this leading into the 2025 season of the University of Tennessee football season. One more time. For Chuck Cavalaris, Tyler Ivens. We'll catch you next week right here on the Sports Source Digital Network.